Team building is an important part of strategy implementation, because strategy implementation, as we discussed earlier, is a question of getting a large number of people to perform certain kinds of specified tasks. Okay. Now, team building requires certain kinds of a certain perspective. Team building requires a certain perspective. One, team building is aided by team identity. A team identity means that every member of the team must be able to relate to a particular element which is common. Okay? Apart from ideas, sometimes concrete elements like a badge, for instance, or a slogan, or a particular team name which each member of the team carries, right? These kinds of things help to build team identity. The second issue in team building is team solidarity. You're all aware of the kind of discussions that are going on with regard to the Indian cricket team today, right? Now, that again is a team. The problems in the Indian cricket team relate to team solidarity. There are different members of the team who are saying different things. There are different members of the team who are complaining about other members in the team. In other words, team solidarity is lacking. The third element in team building is commitment to a shared objective. Every effective team must ensure that all members of the team share this absolute commitment to the objective, right? There may be disagreements on the means of reaching that objective, but if there is a disagreement on the objective itself, then the team cannot be effective. We've so far looked at various issues. Now, when you look at team dynamics, right? Now, one important point to consider is group norms. There must be common patterns of behavior, right, which are prescribed when the group is formed. And there must be rewards and penalties for violation of these norms. And ultimately, we must recognize that group power depends on how strongly the individual wants to be part of the group, because the group can ultimately levy the penalty of expelling a member from the group. So, group power depends on how strongly the individual wants to be part of the group. We've so far talked about how to get a group to perform well, what are the issues in group functioning, and so on. Let's close by looking at some of the negatives in group decision making, right? Now, one issue which all of you would have observed in your own professional lives is that decision taking takes much longer when you have a group involved. The larger the size of the group, the longer the decision takes. So, if there is some way in which this can be tackled, right, it would certainly make group decision making more effective. The second issue which needs to be looked at is the issue of risk. See, what happens is that when an individual is taking a decision, he tends to take a decision of low risk because he is responsible for it. For instance, if the company is deciding whether to introduce a new product into a particular market segment, and that decision is ultimately to be decided by one person, okay? In this event, that person may take a conservative decision and say that let me try and see if in a small part of the if I can do some kind of test marketing operation to see if this would work out. On the other hand, if it's a group of people who are taking this decision, a group decision naturally means less individual responsibility because it is group responsibility, and because of that the group may decide to take a decision that yes, let's go ahead with introducing this product into that particular market segment. So group decision making is riskier than individual decision making. This is another issue that needs to be addressed when we are considering group decisions. The third issue is perhaps the most critical. This is the issue of group agenda. See, what happens is that any group, once it has been around for a while, begins to develop a sense of shared identity, a sense of shared purpose, and a sense of shared interests. The group begins to develop a certain interest. Now, this interest may or may not coincide with the interest of the organization. Now, this is another issue. In fact, this is the most critical issue in group functioning that needs to be addressed. We've looked at this session at different kinds of teams, and we've looked at how team functioning can be improved. Thank you.